Maybe next time.
Yeah. Everything happens for a reason.
That's what I think. We'll be
So
good
how
on
do
this.
we tag them?
All right, here we go.
You can tell them we're going to be talking about the role of communication and consent. I'll
Okay.
just do that. That way I have in the notes here what we'll be talking about. If you want me to say that.
Okay, we are on white rules.
Peace and blessings, family. This is Brother Shareef and Ptah Shakur with the Hour of Power. We have two special guests tonight. Please share the video if you can, and we will have a call-in number that you can call in once we get into the topic. In the name of God, the gracious, the merciful, we give him praise and thanks for his mercy and his goodness to the human family. If all the trees upon earth were pens to write with, and if all the oceans were ink, and then another 7 oceans to add to its supply, the writing would still not be enough to explain the glory of God. We confide in no other in our time of need, and we praise no other in our good fortune. He is one. And even if I lived to be 1,000, it would still not be enough to thank God for his many blessings and gifts. We thank God for the Metu Neter, oracle scriptures and writings that came on the continent of Africa thousands of years before any organized religion. We thank God for Moses in the Torah, Jesus in the Gospel, and Muhammad with the Quran. I greet everyone in words of peace. To my Hebrew, Israelite, and Jewish family, Shalom. To my Christian family, praise the Lord. To my Muslim family, Assalamu alaikum. To my Black Conscious family, Hotep. To my Native American family, Celita. And to my people in the streets, what's good to you? It all means peace. Normally we have we can still have Brother Ptah do his announcements, but he's actually going to be someone that we're interviewing along with our other 2 young ladies tonight. So turn it over to my guest and my producer at the same time tonight.
Just want to share a little bit of a housekeeping out there. This is a live call-in show. This is streaming live on the White Rose channel 16 and 18 as well as on Facebook as well. So if you want to join in the conversation, the number is on the bottom of the screen there, 717-846-5067. This is a program for you. This is a community. So if you have ideas that you want to bring to the community in the form of us building together, moving towards diversity, moving into a more peaceful, harmony infused world, this is the program for you. If we have a youth, we want to hear about the positive contributions. We had a young man on last week, young man that's doing great things in our community. So this is an opportunity to get some feel-good stories, but we need your participation with that. So if you want to be on later episodes, please reach out to Ptah Shakur or Shareef Hameed, and we would love to get you on the program. So this is going to go into 9 o'clock on those particular stations that I was sharing. As far as Facebook, we can go a little bit longer as well. So please call in, make comments, share your support, and I'll kick it back to you, Shareef.
All righty. So this is part 2 of our discussion about relationships, how it relates to race, and we're going to build on that, and we have some other topics that we're going to discuss. Shout out to Miss Olga and our brother Arthur, who was with us before. They're not feeling too well today, so peace and blessings to them. But we're going to make it work with what we have. We have Brother Ptah. We'll be asking him to weigh in on this, so he has a lot to share. So a couple weeks ago, I think it was, we need you to wait to call in. Let me see. Yes. Yeah, who's calling?
Yeah, my name's Glenn.
Who?
Glenn.
I can't hear you.
You have to wait
I
and...
got my phone turned all the way up, so
Oh,
and I have it on speaker.
ask him to call back.
Call back. We're just getting the interview started, the discussion started. Call back in about 15, 20 minutes.
Okay, good.
Yeah. All right, a couple weeks.
Call now.
If
Hotlines
you're
are
if you're
open.
if you're listening in, give us a chance to get involved in the conversation. Then you're more than welcome to call in. But we're just getting started. So a couple weeks ago, I made a post. I think I know Miss Sita saw it. Ptah saw it. I don't know if Kelly saw it. And I made a post that on Facebook that us as men, we're taught to get as much cookies as we can. I'll say that word instead of the actual word. People was acting like I'm some kind of monk or something. Yeah, I like women too. I'll just put it that way. But we were taught as men coming up, especially in our community, the black community, that get as much cookies as you can. You know, I said the P word, but I'm gonna keep it clean on air today. Get as much cookies as you can. We were not taught to be husbands. We were actually taught to be pimps, as Brother Ptah said it. But that's just our culture. And boy, that lit up like a wildfire. So we're gonna start off with that, and you could share your thoughts on the thread. And, you know, within a couple minutes after everyone on the panel gives their experience with that, then you could call in. Again, I said, am I the only one that was taught get as much cookies as you can? And you know what I mean. We weren't taught to be husbands. We were taught to, just like it says, get as much as you can. So, ladies first, Miss Sita, what I know you, I don't want to speak for you, but you know, I share a lot with you. And when I told you about that, you said you never heard of that before. So
Never heard of it.
mhm,
In our household, that wasn't spoke about. You know, we didn't speak about those types of things, and maybe because I was a female, you know.
yeah, that's more of a male
Yeah,
thing.
but you know, as a female, the men in the family never said to me, "Well, I'm teaching our boys this, but you need to be aware that we're teaching them that." You know. So I just never. When you said that, I was like, "What? Did you grow up here?" Because I don't. I in our household that just wasn't spoken on. It was more of more wholesome Christian values, like you save sex till marriage. Not everybody listened, but you know, but that's how you know they tiptoed around sex. You didn't hear those talks in the kitchen in our household.
Okay. Miss Kelly, did you hear anything like that when you were coming up or from a friend? And before you say anything, I want to put it out there that most of the people on the line said it was more from their peers. But but a lot of people grew up, and when we get to Ptah, it was both peers and uncles and stuff like that. Yeah. What's your experience with that?
So, my mother, that wasn't something we talked about.
More of a male thing.
No, she was trying to prepare us to go out into the world and be a wife from the Christian standpoint. You know, and it's whatever your husband wants. Obviously, sex is going to be one of them, right? So, that was for your husband. Well, see how I paid attention to that, right? But yeah, and not that it didn't go unnoticed.
Yeah.
I did actually listen, but it wasn't until the
Last minute.
last time
It's
around.
too late.
I think it's a
Wow.
cultural thing.
Yeah.
Ptah's gonna educate us since he's a black male and grew up around the way like I did. So, what's
Yeah,
your
that
experience
particular
with it?
idea, and just to kind of reiterate for people that's at home, as far as that mindset of to get as much cookies, get as much sexual experiences as humanly possible. That was like the order of the day, particularly when I say like a high school, and it kind of reminds me of and it's that way because a lot of it was really music themed. I think when you come home, I mean you're in school from Monday through Friday, and then got your weekend off or whatever. And the conversations on the Monday is normally either some sports conversations or some music. You got
Sexual healing.
yeah. Well, what I mean, I grew up a little bit of pumps and the bumps,
Oh,
okay.
I remember that video. That was funny. That one came right back to mind. That pumps and the bump video, and that,
Yeah.
it started to make its turn. Uncle Luke video, that type of hip hop was in its pure state, and then it was getting a little bit more bastardized.
Yeah.
And so that was the conversations, and so a lot of those lyrics are a lot of take advantage of women, take advantage of women, take advantage of women. And so that kind of seeped into the the peers, and that's all that we would talk about. And with sitting back as a grown man looking at it now, it kind of reminds me of the disinformation that was given to Africans in Africa when the HIV was spreading like wildfire. Believe it or not, there was a rumor going on within the people that was there. They believed that if you had AIDS, if you would have sex with a virgin woman, that would cleanse you from AIDS.
Wow.
We can sit here and say that's the silliest, stupidest thing that you could think
They
of.
didn't know.
But believe it or not, that's how powerful or just a word
Yes.
that just goes virally without checking any type of factualness. So then taking it to what we talking about, that's all we were talking about is getting as many girls as you possibly can. And I had family members, a lot of people that had children out at a very young age because that was. And then when you're coming from like a smaller town,
Yeah.
you really don't have as many other things to kind of occupy your time. And so yeah, that was certainly an order of the day. And you measured yourself as a man according to how many bees you can.
Oh, wow.
With all these
Pollinate.
analogies we beating around the bush.
Yeah.
How many sexual
You can
experiences that you
pollinate.
can possibly have? Yeah.
Wow.
Pollinate.
I
That's
just
another
never
word.
heard of that.
Mhm. If it's any brothers out there listening
That's
and you
crazy.
have a comment on that, that was the post that I made. We were taught, by our friends and peers to get as much cookies as you can, and I certainly was taught that, but it was difficult for me because I lived around the way, but I went to Catholic school, and they certainly weren't weren't having that. So, and I was the only child, so my mom and dad kind of coddled me and protected me. So it was very difficult because most of my friends, that's what they were doing. I already did an interview a couple months ago about how I was sexually abused coming up, but it was all by women. So my mind was all over the place. I looked like I had it together because my dad was in the nation and all that, but my mind was all over the place because my friends was influencing me to do that, and then I had grown women sexually taking advantage of me. I mean, I was only like 8, 9 years old, and I couldn't go to the Catholic school because they would just condemn me. And then when I tried to tell my friends what was going on, I tried it one time, and they was like, "Man, you smashing that? She's an old head." I was like, "That isn't what I wanted you to tell me." You know what I mean?
I wanted
So-
you to give me good, like, hey,
Yeah.
thumbs up. This is what I was told to do. Like, I don't know what the purpose would be. Is the purpose just to fulfill a sexual fantasy? Was it to practice for your marriage?
Nothing about.
It was
Nothing about
no
marriage.
end goal.
Yeah,
It was like,
just get as much as get as much as you can.
It was like
End
it was Sonic the Hedgehog. You try to collect all those rings.
Oh, wow.
What would you end up really? We never really thought as far as what gathering all this up besides rep.
It's like a trophy. It's like a
Yeah,
trophy.
Trophy.
Yeah.
It's like a trophy
Yeah,
case.
some great way of saying
One guy made the connection to bowling. knock them down.
What?
Wow.
Knock them down. That was
If
like
I
the
would have
new-
known that, I would have
Mhm.
probably never gave up my cookies. I would have been protecting myself,
Mhm.
from the people that was trying. I mean,
And people don't like to talk about it, but it's directly related to slavery. Once we got here, they used the men and the women as breeding ground.
Yeah.
They would take them from plantation to plantation
Yeah.
to reproduce, so we can have more, slave babies. To work for them.
There
But
was
that's what they were taught. Go
Yeah.
here, go there, not marrying none of them. And we were
Yeah.
used to getting married, but they took that from us, and they
yes.
put that in us about just breeding. People think it isn't real, but it's directly related. Anyone that knows anything
Mhm.
about slavery in America, they just talk about picking cotton and all that,
Mhm.
but they don't talk about the psychological damage, the rape and the breeding and all that. We were made to do these things. Sometimes men was with their own daughters and granddaughters. All they saw was two human beings that could reproduce, and they didn't care how it got done.
Yep, that's true.
That's how it was done. So yeah, that's how I was taught. That was the, that's just how it was. It's more of a cultural thing, because I think other cultures were taught about marriage. Like
Yeah.
like Kelly mentioned, but in our culture, that's easy. Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah, it's an
Get
easy.
as much as you can.
It's an easy funnel just straight into a whole bunch of myriad of problems. Early child, child lock, parents not being together, not really understanding one another, and therefore how they're gonna really raise a child together.
Mhm.
That has a lot of negative things that came about of that, and even looking to this day, the day that we're in right now.
Mhm.
I don't know if y'all on social media or not, but these young ladies right now, they walk around like, oh, I'm a trophy,
Mhm.
and they're kind of really they took that energy, and now this instead of if you can't get out of it, get into it. It's like they're going full blast right into it. Okay, I'm gonna be a trophy. I'm not. They don't have the respect for their bodies. They don't.
Exactly.
They just gave up respect to the body too much. So there's something. One person was on TikTok, and this is not just one person. They'll do sexual favors on young men for Chipotle,
Oh my God.
for something to eat. No, I'm not making this up. So look from where we started as far as it being totally a man. Oh, we rack up points. The woman was cognizant of what's going on.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we didn't have no real role models in the community. We didn't have that married
Yeah.
couple. No one talked about it. That might have been a poster that you seen in the corner of your classroom, and then we told them through a poster, but we didn't have no real live example. There wasn't any discussions, not unless it was coming from your personal household about, hey, son, when you get a woman, gotta take care of her and get
That's
married.
what we grew up around. We
Okay.
grew up in a strong marital, like every uncle and aunt in the family was married, and if they had issues or problems, like it happened later on. It might have been happening in the household, but we didn't know about it. All I saw was married people. So I got married at a young age. I got married at 16,
It's all in your environment, like
That's
we
deep.
talked about.
Where
in
was
the
this at? Is
last
this in
one.
Pennsylvania?
Oh yeah.
New York?
Yeah, I'm not saying everyone
Okay.
was grew up like this, because I grew
I'm
up.
just about as amazed at what you're saying. as you're
I
amazed
grew
at
up
what
with
I'm
my
saying.
mom and dad was married, but my peers.
Yeah.
That's where I got that from. And our first
Okay.
panel member, Miss Olga, said, "Now, if a woman did that, she'd be a hoe."
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's double standard.
double
Yeah.
standard.
Yep.
My-
But now the young, like you said, it's not that pressure isn't just on the men, the boys. Because I'm a therapist and I work with young people. I go into the schools. They call it catching bodies.
Yeah.
And they said some of the girls use that kind of language and how many bodies you got, and would you date a girl if she had more than 10 bodies? I said, man, that's 10
Bodies.
souls going into. They did a study
Yeah.
when a man goes into a woman and his all his soul
DNA,
and
all
DNA
that. Yeah, because the
goes
sperm
to
is
So it's all energy.
DNA in there.
10 bodies. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
It's all your soul ties.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't even know, like people don't even know that they're spiritual beings.
Yeah.
We're just taught that some people are taught that we're just human, but we have so many different dimensions to us.
True.
And that soul thing, I didn't learn about that until I was older. And I don't even think that it was embraced by the African American society about the soul ties. We might have talked about it in church, but of course, it was something that was beyond what I could even phantom. You know what they say when you go to church, you know, you're eating baby food in the beginning
Right.
until you're able to eat the meat. So it was probably talked about, but you know, the Bible's and parables a lot of times you don't understand it or whatever, the Quran or you know whatever holy book you're reading or listening to. So
that goes into so the role of communication and consent. You can go into creating healthy, balanced relationships.
Yeah.
We can talk about the strategies for building and maintaining healthy relationships because of what the male viewed sex as.
Yes.
And what the woman viewed sex as. Like, we viewed it as, like, that's something that we had to do for the person that we married.
Right.
That's not negotiable. That's something we had to do.
And when people think that it's not a non-negotiable, then either you're being combative, you're not being submissive, what we talked about a couple weeks ago. Sometimes this can lead to taking over and taking dominance, rape, forced sex, even in marriages. People don't get that.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, women can be raped.
Yeah.
And
men
the
too.
law allows it.
Yes.
The law allows it because the law allowed it. Like they basically said it because he was still my husband. It wasn't rape.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
I think that science needs to be talked about more, and you're into like the different sciences of the mind. You know, these youth talking about how many bodies they got on their record, and they don't even. I know no one isn't teaching them that kind of, like you said, not even spiritual places that when you mix with someone and their whole DNA on both sides, not just the woman, even because we're going into the woman. I hope. That's just super deep. When I read about that, I ain't learned about it till I went to school, and because we was talking about the mind and that DNA being shared with all the people you were with,
ever with.
Yeah. And we wonder why we're so confused. That's.
And I would never have thought it growing up in the 80s. Anybody's growing up in the 80s.
No,
we were scared to death of that HIV.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was like Candyman.
No, you don't hear about it.
Magic Johnson caught it. So I think I was maybe like in the fourth or fifth grade. So if I was at that time hearing about this AIDS, this disease that could be passed around by sex, and then if I would fast forward to the time we're living in right now and see how easy people are giving up their bodies and everything, I would have thought it was impossible. Like, aren't you afraid?
And people getting pregnant, like pregnancy after pregnancy. Of course, if you're getting pregnant, you're probably not using protection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the same way you get pregnant is the same way you can catch all these STIs.
Yeah.
Man, they don't even talk about AIDS anymore.
No, they
it's
don't
like
talk about it like
it's like it don't even exist.
It's
and
surging
thousands and millions of people are still using their lives.
Yeah, in Atlanta, it's surging. But, it's the way that people are having sex and, sex, men who sleep with men, big.
And some of that's for like drugs and stuff.
And men, we just talked about this earlier, you know, I used to be a HIV and AIDS risk reduction counselor, and I worked with the CDC, and there was so many stories. First of all, the African American community doesn't really trust, you know, science and the healthcare system because of the atrocities that were done to us.
Yes,
You can look at, you know, the Tuskegee studies, the syphilis study, and all these other studies that were done, and
It's still going on.
and still going on. Yeah.
I met the sister. She has the book, one of my favorite books, and I got a whole library of books. Harriet Washington with medical apartheid. It says um, studies, not studies, but you know the things they did with us before to the present. That's what it says on the cover of the book. You know, experiments of African Americans before and to the present. That's what it says on her book. That's right now, you know. So people may not. They look at Tuskegee and it's still going on.
Yes.
You know. So that's another
I
subject.
think the last study that they did something down in Baltimore. I think it was something with HIV. I'm not sure exactly what it was, so I really can't speak on it. But yeah, that's deep. But you know, a lot of the HIV, and they pulled a lot of funding for that too. So I don't know if that was on purpose, you know, that they pulled the funding because there's not a lot of education around that. But there's certainly a lot of pregnancies, you know.
Our sister, Miss Dottie, she's one of our elders. She said back in the days, the more women a man had made him a stud. He was a bad man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then Miss Olga, one of our first panel members, said they have a pill you can take so you don't catch it. I think she's talking about
The HIV.
Oh really?
Oh yeah. It kind of
That's a whole nother
boosts
topic.
your immune system so that you your body is because a lot of times when individuals get HIV, you know, it's their bodies are immunocompromised. You know, so it's an
Wouldn't you want your
opportunistic
body
infection.
to be like that anyway, to fight off disease?
No,
You
a
don't
lot
wanna
of
be
people catch.
immunocompromised.
Yeah, a lot of people may get HIV. Just because you sleep with someone who has HIV doesn't mean that that person is going to get it. It's not 100%.
You mean
It's
the
an
other person?
it's an opportunistic infection. So it has to have the right time, the right dose, you know, of whatever it could be blood, it could be semen, it could be vaginal secretions, it could be, you know, breast milk. Breast milk is one of the lowest, but you know, just the different ways that people can get it. Some people think that it's saliva. No, you would have to like ingest gallons of saliva, you know. But yeah, it's a lot. If you want to go into that on another, you know,
Right.
another topic or another discussion, that I would be happy to come. I've been doing this for
Certainly.
years.
Certainly, and you deal with the youth a lot. They're having such risky sex now.
Yeah.
You know, I can't say we weren't doing that when we were coming up, but they called them trains.
Oh
when
yeah.
when we were coming up, it was like that was like a bold thing to do, but that's still going on, but it's more of a group sex thing. I work with a lot of youth that take you know, you got this vaping and stuff and all these drugs. Do you know it's such a thing called Lazarus parties?
I did not know that.
Oh, so
Yeah.
they
So-
come
so-
back from the dead.
Yeah, well, so what they do, they tell you at the door, look, if you OD, we got a Narcan
Narcan.
here to bring you back to life, and that's where they get that from, Lazarus.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're called Lazarus parties. I remember I used to do Uber, and they're the ones that told me about it. Young people, I used to pick up young people from North Carolina University and Duke University, and I used to ask questions like, "What's going on here?" It's a Lazarus party. I said, "What? What is that?" You could Google it. They said,
Wow.
"Yeah, we about to get it in." Yeah, Lazarus parties. You could Google it. Most people don't know that it even exists, but you heard it here on Hour of Power.
Mhm.
Parents,
So
if
you
you're at
know.
home,
Mhm.
talk to your youth. You'll be amazed. I had a person really close to me who's working with troubled youth, teens between the ages of 17 and 19, and they used to come home and tell me the different things they've heard. I would have thought I was watching some type of reality show. Like it boggles your mind, but we're not gonna go into some of that stuff. Some of that stuff should not go viral, but you're right. It's a lot of swapping around, and we talked about major things such as pregnancies and HIV, even either minor things that a woman, your body chemistry is off with a lot of UTIs, urinary tract infections, and all this. So queens, ladies, if you're out there, understand that you are the mother of civilization.
Yes.
You are all things of life come through you, and I know that the men in this, the men are quite got the finger to blame to devaluing your importance so much so that you follow suit and devalue yourself. However, there's solutions that's coming. I just say that.
There was some other pertinent topics that
Yeah.
you ladies wanted to touch on because we could go on and
So
on.
how
about
do
that.
we we uncovered some of the issues and some of the problems, so we wanted to talk about like communication. A lot of times that in different cultures, the woman is beneath the man, or at the bottom of the totem pole. So there is no communication. It is whatever the man says it is, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, because that's what we're taught. Like, at least that's what I was taught growing up. Like, it is whatever the man wants, you give them. Like, they want you to stay at home and cook their food and do their wash and, wait on them hand and foot. That's what you do. You also have to make sure that you keep them satisfied and,
In the bedroom.
in the bedroom, yep.
Mm.
Well, I know it's been a shift since we're talking about culture. Back in the day, it was like what was that, the good times. The man would go out there and Florida Evans, stayed home.
I know where you going with this.
Now black women is
Make
making
America great again.
she's making six figures.
Yes.
And she's on kind of surpass the black man, and not in every home.
Right.
But if you would look at it across the board, I don't need any statistics. It's my naked eye. Can anyone knows that it's been a paradigm shift, huge in the black community. Black men are struggling with incarceration, not having no jobs, homelessness, we killing each other. The cops is killing us. So the black man has, slipped a little, if you
Struggling.
want to say that. And
Responsibility
black
wise.
women is
She got to bring home the bacon.
Yeah.
As they say.
So they used
But she
to,
don't have to pump the gas. What's up with that? I see the man on the other side, the woman's pumping the gas, and I'm like,
No.
I hope he have legs
I know, right?
and arms.
I know.
There's no
My
way.
husband was
He
just
can't.
saying
I mean,
that.
I'm thinking he don't have legs and arms. Because
My
that's
husband was
just
just saying that the other day. Why is that man not out there pumping
Yeah.
his own gas? I was like, honey, better get than me.
But you know what? Not to change the subject, but I
Chivalry
found
is
myself in that situation, but it was a cultural thing. This is so crazy. It's my car, but I got out and the person was riding with me. He's from Africa. He doesn't drive, but I got out because it's my car. I'm pumping the gas and I'm like, He's in the car though.
Chivalry is gone.
Yes,
Oh my
but
God.
it never even dawned on him to
Never
just.
occurred to him.
So what I did is I said he doesn't know, so I needed to communicate with him. I said this won't happen again, and he said, "What is it?" And I was like, "I'm pumped," and it's a good friend of mine, but he's from another. If it was his car, he might have pumped the gas. I ain't pumping the gas, but he might have pumped the gas. But I had to teach him. I said, you know what? When I pull up at the gas station, you got to get out the car and pump the gas.
Yeah, because my husband would have got out the car and pumped
Yeah,
the
but
gas.
he's not my husband. He's not my boyfriend. He's a friend.
Right.
But I'm so used to doing it
Right.
that I did it. And I said, I'm looking at all the people looking at me, and I'm thinking, are they thinking the same thing that I'm thinking when I see somebody sitting in the car, a man sitting in the car, and I'm pumping the gas? Like, what's up with that? But again, it's all about communication. So I had to teach him. That was a teachable lesson for me and him. Like, I had to think about that. So,
I guess I got real strong.
okay.
Because what I'm saying is this. I'm a gentleman in particular. This, like I said, Ptah, Shakur, what I'm all about is a catalyst for change.
Yeah.
So, if things is going too far right, sometimes you got to go a little bit more to the left.
Yeah.
Now, I'm an individual. I've actually started now. Actually, we're bringing more of that out. It's called Extraordinary Gentlemen events. This is to bring chivalry back.
Yes.
I'm tired of hearing that chivalry is gone and it's dead.
Yeah.
No. I'm bringing it back.
Yeah.
And individuals like myself that do things like that open doors. I open doors for everyone, not just for my woman, for any woman, regardless of what age, from 5 to 155.
Yes.
That door is coming open. Now, I don't mean disrespect you, but you said as far as the communication is that men needed communication. Men need to become aware.
Yes.
And like, for instance, if I was to tell a young man to pump the gas, I would go into the why of it. Those gas pumps are disgusting. They're dirty.
Yeah.
They're not clean at all. And like I said, if you come from the core understanding that the woman is the mother of civilization, we're to hold her first. We think that because we're built stronger and built bigger, that we're over a woman. We're built that way to protect our women. And this is the mindset, I believe, that if we have that mindset of mindfulness and awareness, it should be
a no-brainer.
You shouldn't even have to say anything.
It's a no-brainer.
When it comes and you see somebody, and I see going into the grocery store, the lady's holding things and she's opening the door. And then I watch all of this. I see the woman out there cutting the grass, and I see the man right there.
Yeah.
And I this is what I think about it. It occupies maybe a little bit too much of my mind. Like what would make a man just sit there and just and what I came up with is just that's the order
Not
of the
being
day.
taught.
That's just the way I was, the way my dad was, that's the way my granddad was, which is a horrible excuse.
But I was thinking, because he doesn't drive, and in my opinion, Americans, we're just quick. We don't wait for nothing. We just do it with the quickness. I probably dropped at that gas station in 2.5 seconds. I was out that car. He probably didn't even have an opportunity to think about what I was doing, But again, we'll see if it happens again. I'm going to see if I taught the lesson that I was supposed to teach. And if it doesn't happen, then he's going to get taught the lesson again. He doesn't get the pass.
And that's the even broader issue is, man, do you want to learn?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you want to learn?
When we and I ain't gonna tell too much about this, but I had a father who was a little more on that machoistic type of mindset, and I can hear my mother sharing things with him that it'd be a way that he can do something in a better way that could enhance the whole household. There was reasonings behind it, but you talk to certain men, and you just see that just going right in there, at the, because that ego, that word is the 3-letter long, but it's the largest thing that you're gonna experience in this world. That ego pop up, and it's like, I ain't gotta listen to her.
And I think that women have been so independent for so long. We've had to do it for a long time. We just get right into the groove of it. Yep.
Our sister Tracy said we need to teach our girls
Mm-hmm.
um,
I should have just sat in the car and waited,
to see if.
and and
Mm,
he look at me, and I look at him, and he look at me again, and see if he got it. But me, because I have been independent for so long, I didn't wait for that opportunity. It was
Understood.
almost like he wasn't even in the car. This is what I do all the time. I'm not waiting for anybody to pump my gas. Not that, I want to be like that, but it's just ingrained
That's
in
respect.
me. Yeah.
And I don't blame you, ladies, because men, we have dropped the ball severely. The finger needs to firmly get placed where it needs to go. And I really respect everything you're saying. Yes, our ladies need to know to have respect for their body, but sometimes you gotta reverse devil's plan. You know what I mean? Like we just sat up here and was saying back in the 80s, because the men were seeing these women as trophies. They're sitting here, they don't have any examples telling them about being married. So if you can't get out of something, you get into it. And they double down in it. Now they don't have respect for themselves. And so what we have to do as men, I believe, I'm holding all men that can hear the sound of my voice. We have to protect our woman. We should have to wait. Hey, a woman say, hey, protect me, protect me. You know what I mean? So it's up to us to change how we relate to our woman and start treating our women like as queens and mothers of civilizations that they are. And I know personally where I interact with a lot of youth, and these little girls, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They understand the energy. They understand I'm a youthful spirit, and I'll die on that hill to protect the youth. And so they'll come and they'll hang around me. You know how they sometimes they get around hanging around your neck and everything around that. I take that responsibility very, very seriously.
Yeah.
Because I'm teaching that young woman what is acceptable from a man and what's not.
Yes.
So I'm always respectful, always in line. You know what I mean? You and any of the men that out in that if you're in the teaching profession, you're an educator, you all get what I'm saying. And I salute going up, because you hear some weirdos doing some weird things out there.
Oh, yeah.
But you have to hold that line, because it's that generation that 30, 40 years, that young girl right now could be something special to cause all women across the world, like a Lana Van Zandt, or a real positive woman example, so we can start to correct this. So we all got to hold the line, particularly for men. I'm holding your feet to the fire. So like I said, I respect what you're saying as far as on the lady on your end. Y'all can teach, the women and everything of that nature. But this is a man-dominated world right now, and I pivot so far to the other way. I even share when I orate and talk to large groups of young men. I say, did you know that every man, every being that's in this world at one time was a female? Did you know before your penis became a clitoris, you was an XX chromosome?
Yeah.
The woman is XX.
Yeah.
And the man is XY. So that means you are a distortion of the original being. The original being is a woman, a womb man. We all came from a woman. And like I said, at that key point in your life, the first 5 or 6 weeks, you don't have a sex. You're what you call what's the word? I forget the name of the word. You don't have a definitive sex. So you're basically you're a female until that grows into, which is basically a clitoris that is actually pulled from the outside.
Yep.
So the man is basically an inverted female, if you really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's man. You got the woman. Man is in woman. He is part of she.
Yeah.
So.
And the old saying is, iron sharpens iron. I'm so glad and thankful that my dad, taught me. Well, not my dad, my father. He took me further in life under the teachings of Elijah Muhammad. You can say what you want about that man. He taught my dad, and my dad taught me. My dad used to tell me, you don't let no woman take care of you, boy.
Yes.
He said, I'm going to come looking for you if I find out you living.
Well, we need more men like that.
You living with a woman. And he even told me, you won't be accepting a bunch of gifts from a woman. He said, you can bless her.
That's it.
But he said, you buy your own damn jeans, boy.
Yes.
You buy your own jacket. He said, I better not find out. And I took that even when I was dating, and it would be my birthday. I'm going to get you this or that. I'm like, nah. I used to be like, nah, I'm good.
That's a
like,
good
what?
father.
She was like, what? Where you come from? I was like, nah, I'm good. I said, I'll get you something, but I don't want no. And then even it was even hard when I got married to accept gifts from a woman. She was like, I'm your, she was like, I'm your wife. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm good. And he said, you don't live with no woman. You don't let no woman take care of you unless you definitely sick. That's what my dad drilled into me. And we already talked about what I said, how he told me to pick, women, but that was that show. He told me you do not accept gifts and let no woman take care of you. He said it's all right if you get her a gift because that's what women like. They like things. But he said I don't want to hear about you accepting no gifts and letting women buy your clothes because that was a thing coming up. And yeah, my woman got me this and that. I'm like, what?
Now
What kind
that's
of punk are you?
a lot
man?
of times that's what they expect.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, these young guys,
Yeah.
they
And
don't
living
have no
with
man.
them, no
Mhm.
job,
Mm-mm.
just and
No,
and
my dad would've
sometimes the
killed me.
females, I've seen it
They,
where
like
they
Miss Olga
risking
said,
their
they
housing.
allow it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they're risking their like housing, Section 8,
Mhm.
government housing, government anything in order for these men to stay there. And I'm like, what?
Mm-mm.
Like, and you have kids. Like everybody gotta go if you get caught. Like that's crazy to me.
But that ain't her real man though. The real man is the one. The real
He
man
gonna
is the
buy a
one.
house.
The real man is the one who she reports to once a month or once a year with those the paychecks and the income verification. That's her real man.
That's her real man.
There it is.
Our power.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Olga, how you doing?
Hey.
Hey, Olga, we miss you.
Doing really, really great. But I wanted to let y'all know we're getting a lot of comments, and we should start taking some calls because these subjects are popping off right now. The young man is excellent, and he's getting points. Cedar, Kelly, Shareef, y'all are doing great. Time to start getting them calls. You're going to be there for
Yes,
9:30.
anybody
Have a
that
great night. Y'all doing great.
Thank you,
anyone that
Olga.
has
Thank
any
you.
comments, you're more than welcome to call in.
Please
Forgot
call in.
to
You want to give them the number?
717-846-5067 is the call-in number. 717-846-5067. Any questions or comments are welcome at this time.
I just want to fine tune something, and I want to go to what you were saying because the schematic of relationships now is kind of weird with the dudes at home playing PlayStation and all that. But
Yes.
I want to go back to real quick for anybody who's listening right now because what you were sharing about with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, what he was saying as far as the woman being the mother of civilization, that type of aspect, and don't take any. You saying buy your own jeans and that type of mindset. I would say this: if more and more people was listening to the knowledge that was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was saying back in those days, it'd be more applicable for a time like this, where that man would keep his ego, of subsided. Because now, like you said, the demographics changes. So there's women that are now bringing in the bacon and bringing on the thing. So anybody's listening at home right now, I want to make sure that we're up to modern day times of how we should be thinking about a thing. Is that the woman is to be protected, and then once you're moving into this constraints where the woman is actually bringing in the finances, you just take your ego and just set it on the side. You can still be a provider in that household. You don't have to be in this constant competition with one another. That's kind of.
And I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago. You know, the communication has to come in because sometimes men may feel intimidated by a woman who has that, education and she's making more money. That
Okay.
might be another topic of, for conversation, but you have to be comfortable
Right.
with that female. It is proven that, African American women are leading in, the education realm,
Mhm.
far beyond any other race in this United States.
It's a gap.
Yeah. So, when I went to school, it was all about being financially independent, but I was thinking about my family. I wasn't just thinking about me as an individual. I was thinking about how can I, you know, make, more money so that I could be, so that I could be financially responsible in case my partner couldn't be,
Right.
you know? But both of us making money together, I never thought about a man being envious or jealous of a woman, or even scared that a woman was making more money. I never thought about that.
That's a big issue.
Yeah.
How is it in your culture about economics and the man making more, and is that accepted, or is it?
I
Who
think
pays the bill? Who pays what? Who pays the
I think it's accepted. A lot of the men accept it. If you're making more money, like some even stay home with their kids. They decide to reverse roles and stuff.
The men?
A lot of your men,
Oh.
they're very accepting of the woman if the woman wants to go out there
And he stay
do
home?
that. Yeah.
I don't know if I would.
There was a
like that.
movie back in the 80s with Tom Hanks.
I
It's
seen
called
I don't know
Mr.
that I
Mom.
would
Mr.
like
Mom.
that.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that.
I don't know that I would like that.
Mm-mm. And
You want the man to be a part of that, right?
yeah.
But that's a lot of that is happening now though. Like,
Ooh.
they call it modern families or whatever, and like especially like if some women are in the military, the man is not in the military. The woman's in the military. That woman's gonna take precedence.
Yeah, that is real.
I just did a
different for
paper
me.
on that.
You did?
Actually.
Wow.
It's a lot of brothers that have issue with that. Anyone that follows me knows I go to the mosque in Baltimore a lot, and they had to have a whole speech about that. He said, "Look, brothers, let the women make their bread." Prophet Muhammad's wife Khadijah was a businesswoman. She's the one that put him on the map economically because she was very wealthy, and she hired him on. So we got
What
that
does he do,
example. Huh?
What does he do?
Who?
The man, while the wife is out there making the money.
He was making the point that don't be giving her a hard time.
Oh, about
because
going
she's
out.
He said
Yeah.
let your woman make her bread. That's just the way
Because a
he
lot
said
of times what they're doing
know.
now is they're sitting at home playing video games. I'm sorry. I just seen a meme on Facebook the other day where the man is sitting there playing his
video
game,
games,
and
yeah.
the lady has all these bags. One of them was, she has to come home and cook. She got the baby in her hand, and all of these things in the bag was heavy. And he was playing the video.
Still playing
Well, that's-
video
Still
games.
playing
That's
video
not
game.
that's not manly.
Yeah.
Strictly letting your
It's one
woman
thing
make
about-
the bread and you ain't doing nothing.
Yeah.
I don't care what color you
Bust
are.
some dishes or something.
I mean, it's one thing if you're a man and you want to stay home because your wife makes more money and you want to help with the babysitting,
Yeah.
like taking care of your kids.
Right.
That's one
Child care.
thing, like because you want to save on child
Better be
care.
busting dishes too,
But
vacuuming, cleaning the bathroom, just not keeping the kid.
exactly.
Because if we can do it all,
Should be
They
you
can
should
do
be
it,
able to
right.
do
Unless
it
you got
good.
some
They
kind
should be
of,
cleaning the bathroom anyway.
physical ailment or something.
Exactly.
And they don't.
A man gotta get out there and grind unless he got some kind of physical ailment. If she makes more,
Then,
okay,
that's
less
cool.
I gotta do. But
yeah.
to let her do
But
it all.
it's coming
nah.
together, because if you got a woman that loves you, she gonna put in that pot. I mean, she's gonna put that in, and you guys are gonna have it's just together. There's no separateness in here. But I don't know about these new families.
That's what I was going to ask you. Do
Yeah.
you think, are you tapped into this new family? Like, what are they thinking when they're coming home with these bags and they see this person here? Like, what's the thought?
So my daughters are getting married. My one daughter's getting married. I'm not gonna say when because I don't know if she's like told everybody.
Spoiler.
But they're both like at that stage. Like my other daughter's married. My oldest daughter's married. My one daughter's getting married soon, and then I have the youngest one. But they got this thing in their head like actually, my one daughter, the one that's getting married, he wants her at home, and he wants her to not have kids, like they're not having kids,
Okay.
but he wants her to take care of him. So when he comes home, have supper ready, and as long as you are home taking care of me, you could do whatever you want.
So it's kind of like the old school value that you grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So my daughter is going to experience that.
You think she's going to like it?
I don't know. I keep telling her.
Uh-huh.
Because but my other daughter, she's going to school. Her boyfriend's going to work. And he's kind of taking care of her and putting her through school. And then when it comes time for him to go to school, my daughter's going to jump out there and put him through school.
So does
That's a good idea.
with a setup like that, does that mean he gets unlimited cookies?
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Nah, they had the old cell phone plan.
They both have.
Unlimited.
Communicate.
Long as they communicate.
That one of them cricket plans.
Remember the old cell phone plans? Unlimited use.
Oh wait a minute.
Yeah, don't you wait till after 9.
Unlimited cookies.
Wait a minute.
After 9, you can get your cookies.
This kind of leads
9
me to
to
something. This kind of leads me to something my husband just
Y'all are
said.
bad, man.
He goes, for the ones who aren't getting no nookie.
Our sister,
If you're not bringing home
The bacon?
the bacon,
Everybody don't eat bacon. They don't eat bacon. What
If you're
about
not bringing
hamburgers?
you ain't getting no nookie if you're not bringing home something.
Okay, that's true. Something for something.
our sister Tracy said there's a lack of respect in some relationships these days. I've been told that I'm intimidating. Oh, that's a whole nother topic. However, I carry myself with queen confidence. I
There
can
you go.
respect a brother that is a hard worker, provider, helping the woman. He should be displaying leadership qualities
Yes.
that would show that I can trust
Yes.
him to handle business.
Mm-hmm.
And then Miss Olga said, men link up. Not all men are with chivalry. It's dying.
Yes, it is.
Chivalry is dying.
But he said no.
Chivalry's coming back.
Chivalry's coming back.
I'm
He's
bringing
bringing
it
it back.
There you go.
Yeah, you
He's
just-
bringing
And
it
it
back.
takes a village
I
to
shout out
bring it back.
on that extraordinary gentleman committee, and I apologize, gentlemen. We're gonna really put this back together. That's Jamil Alexander, Rich Craighead, Oscar Rossum, Casper Hill.
Yes.
I'm missing somebody. They need us. They
That's
need
a good team.
extraordinary gentlemen, not just gentlemen, because we have a deficit that you need. That it's kind of almost like whenever the rain doesn't come for a period of time, the ground gets real dry and deficit, real dry. And if it's a deluge or a lot of rain or a flood, sometimes we need to pivot the other way to balance this out. So we're not creating gentlemen, we're creating extraordinary gentlemen
go.
for these extraordinary times.
They had a program back in the day. I don't know if Diaz Harris was part of it, but it was some gentleman. They was showing them how to do
Montez.
ties and
Montez,
all that. What
Montez
was the
Mitchell.
name of the program? Yeah.
This was at Crispus Statics. This is my brother, Montel Mitchell.
Yeah.
He actually started the program, and I actually piggybacked off of him. So we
Okay.
had a couple of events there in the
Yeah.
Crispus Statics. The mayor, Michael Heltrich, came out. A lot of gentlemen came out, and we were speaking about a couple of things, such as the school to prison pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
We were speaking about how do your emotions. Yes, man, it's okay to cry.
Yes, it is.
And then
I love it.
I love it.
we got to get in
too.
tap with that. But the main point in which is applicable we're talking about right now is how to treat your woman, and that starts from really from being mindful, and it kind of starts. From
My
there.
friend that called in earlier, he might be asleep now, but he called in earlier, but he was talking about, he said that, when we started out the conversation, get as much cookies as you can. I don't think he said that it was brought up in his household, but the peers, and he said in first grade, he was trying to score, and I was like,
Wow.
what do you even know about? He said he didn't even know what he was trying to do, but he was like, the hormones, he was talking about the hormones and probably the pheromones, that women give off, and that we give off, because you guys have pheromones too, but the attraction for a man and a woman, it does come from birth. Your mother